What up, guys? Welcome to a brand new podcast. Today is a good day, and we're going to be talking about high school and trends. I'm joined here with Ryan. Say hi, Ryan.
Hi everyone.
How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm I woke up about an hour ago, so I'm doing okay. I'm still a little tired, but dedication, doing the podcast, getting the content out.
Yep, getting that content out. Wait, what time did you go to bed?
I usually end up going to bed around like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
I don't know how you do
I
that,
know,
honestly.
it sucks. I need to fix my sleeping schedule, but every time I try to fix it, go to bed at a decent time, I end up just staying up late again, so I know it really sucks.
Man, how did you manage to wake up during school when school was open?
Why do you think I missed so many days?
Oh my
I'd
god.
wake up and I would say, no, it's not happening.
Yeah, I remember in high school I used to have like dumb reasons to stay home. Like honestly, I like this is the dumbest reason ever, and you might make fun of me for this, but I don't really care. But I remember one time I had a pimple on my forehead, right? And it popped up like the night before school, and I woke up and I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to school with this pimple on my forehead. So I made up some great excuse just to stay home, and I just stayed home the whole day working on that pimple, making sure that shit went down.
That's something I could see a girl doing. Not something that I could see you doing. Like normally girls will wake up with pimples on their face or something and they'll freak out and they won't go to school because they need to work on it. But you? That seems off.
I know. See, I cared about my parents so goddamn much. Like another stupid reason I stayed home too is because I was having a bad hair day.
Bad hair days. What hair?
I had.
You don't have any.
Well, right now I don't have any because I shaved my head. But back then when I had hair, sort of, I just stayed home, honestly. And then here's another dumb reason too, because I remember not washing clothes, so I didn't have any clothes to wear that were clean because I forgot to put clothes to wash, and I stayed home because of that, because I didn't want to go to school like wearing dirty clothes. Who the fuck wants to do that?
See, at least I didn't make up bullshit excuses as to why I didn't go. I just said I didn't fucking feel like it.
Yeah, I always have excuses, no matter how dumb they are. There's always an excuse for everything.
Always you and the excuses. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, you can't just.
Yes,
say
you
just
can. I do
I
it.
wish I could. I wish I could do that, but I remember. No. Let me see. My first breakup. I didn't want to tell my mom or anything that I went through a breakup. So what I did was I basically said, oh, I didn't feel well, and then I just stayed home. I took a shower. I cried in the shower, and then when I came out, she was like, your girlfriend broke up with you. And I was like,
Really?
it was, I don't know, but after that day off, it made me realize that not to give a fuck about relationships while you're still in school, because that shit is not important, because you're still in school. What's the point in having like a relationship in high school or middle school? Like, what's the point? You're not gonna see them after you graduate. Probably you guys are gonna go to different colleges and shit like that. So after that I just said, fuck it, there's no point in having a relationship.
I mean, I guess I'm the one exception.
Oh yeah, because you got engaged.
Yeah, I'm engaged to my high school sweetheart.
Yeah,
We currently live together, so.
explain that to me. Explain how that happened.
What do you mean? Explain how it happened. We started dating and then I proposed.
Just like that? Like how long? How long?
Oh, it was like a year and a half after we were dating until I proposed.
How did you do it? You just did the classic, the basic shit.
What's basic shit?
You go on your knees. You just say, "Would you marry me?"
No, I didn't do that.
What did you do?
So I'm gonna explain how I proposed to my current fiance. So she loves the ocean. She loves the water and stuff. That's like her favorite place to be is the water, because she likes fishes and sharks and whatnot. Like she just loves marine life. So one of our first dates that we went on, it was Adventure Island. If any of you live in Florida, Adventure Island is a water park that's next to Busch Gardens. If you know what Busch Gardens is. But that was our first dates we went on, and she really had a fun time. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna take her back there. I took her back there a year and a half later, and I had the ring with me in like this little case, and we went into the water, like a crowded pool area, and I just proposed to her there, and everyone saw it, and the lifeguard was like pointing at me, like, yeah, she said yes. Like, you know, this guy just proposed, and everyone was clapping and cheering, so it was nice.
Damn, I did not expect you to do something like that
What do you
at all.
expect me to
I
do?
thought you would
Just
have
throw
just.
a ring in her face and say, here?
Yeah, I expected that, to be honest, because I was like, that's a little bit too much for you. I would not expect that from you. I expected like something just quiet, not in public.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd do it either, but something happened that day. Something that was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this big, at least as big as I can. You know.
Yeah, I feel like if I ever propose to someone, it's gonna they're gonna have the worst proposal ever. I'm not gonna go all out on that because
You're not even gonna get on the knee. You're just gonna walk up to him and be like, "So, do you want to get married?"
no, I'm gonna go up to them and just like, no, this is what I'm gonna do. When she's sleeping, I'm gonna wake up early and just put it right next to her, and just when she comes down to like get breakfast, I'm like, you see the ring? She's like, yeah, and I'm gonna ask her, so is it a yes? And if she says yes, I'm like, okay, that's it.
What the
that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna do something big. I don't feel like doing something big.
You don't have to do something big. Just like do it in your own home or something, or like
No,
out in.
I'm gonna do it as a prank. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh no, you
I'm
asshole!
gonna get all her family over. I'm gonna go on my knees. I'm like, would you marry me? And then she's gonna say yes, and then the camera's gonna pop out. It's a prank, bro.
You are such an asshole. She would slap the shit out of you.
Nah, she won't. You know why? Because I'll be long gone. Cause
No.
her family members won't even know it's a prank too. They won't even know it's a prank.
They'd all beat the shit out of you too.
They're gonna think, oh my god, that's so cute, and then it's just like it's a prank. They're like, oh, I fucking hate him. It's like, you know what?
You would not. If you did that, I will beat you up myself.
No, I think I'm gonna do one of those like movie proposal. You know how? Actually, when they go to a restaurant and then they tell the waiter to put the ring in something. That's what I'm gonna do.
You mean like what Spider-Man tried to do?
Yeah, what Spider-Man tried to do. Wait, did Mary Jane say yes or no? I can't remember.
It's something fucked up. I think he said to put the ring in with the wine or something in the drink, and then I can't remember exactly what went wrong, but something went wrong, and he didn't get to propose to her.
Yeah, I was surprised that you proposed like that because in high school you didn't seem like the type of person who will like do who will propose like that.
Well, I guess in high school, yeah, I was sort of an asshole, but I wasn't an asshole towards obviously people that I knew. I guess just because I don't really care about other people that much. I feel like I'm jaded. Like other people, I don't really care about their feelings or what's going on in their lives. So if I don't know you, I really don't care about you or anything like that. So I guess that you could see why I would be like that. And also, I am sort of a dick a lot of the times when it comes to my friends, but I can be genuine sometimes if I'm feeling like it.
Yeah, yeah. He's not lying when he said he was a dick because me and Ryan we used to argue all the time in high school.
Well, I wouldn't even call it arguing though. It was it's not like legit arguing though. It wasn't like we were yelling and fighting and whatnot. It was you and me would just get into these funny little arguments and we would just go back and forth and we'd just laugh our asses off. But we would still be sort of arguing, you know?
Yeah, it was a it was a everyday thing. Well,
Every
when he
day,
showed,
first
yeah, if he
period,
showed
we
up
had
to school,
first period together, we would just talk about random shit and then we get into like this stupid argument.
yeah, like we argue all the goddamn time. Even at lunch too, we always find something to argue
Oh
about.
yeah.
And he always like because I get Ryan so mad that he tries to hit me. It's just
Because you
crazy.
did stupid shit. I'm not gonna talk about the dumb shit you did. You already know what you did.
I didn't do. I
Yeah,
was.
you know what you did, and I would
I
get
did
mad.
nothing wrong.
I'd get
I
mad at
didn't.
you, and I'd try to hit you because I need to teach you the lesson.
I did nothing wrong. I was innocent. All right. I was innocent
Innocent,
until.
innocent. I'd like to tell them the question that you asked me.
What question?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Uh huh.
Yeah. I finally bought some of those.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. It was the awkwardest thing ever because I went to Walmart and I didn't know like which one to buy. So so I just picked up anyone.
I'm trying to talk about this without saying what it is,
Yeah, they're not gonna know. They're not gonna know. They might
unless
figure
they're
it out.
unless they're smart, which
Yeah,
they
unless they're
might be.
smart. Well, if well, I said I went to Walmart and pick up some, so they probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Cheap
Yeah,
ass.
but yeah. The thing is, in high school, I was a nice person, right? Until I met Ryan. I was the nicest person ever, which was actually my biggest fault ever because I was too nice. I wasn't. People didn't take me serious when I was
Yeah,
mad,
now they
which I
do because I told you to not be a kiss ass.
yeah, like I had so much troubles in high school dropping people. Like
No,
I came
this is the
to
funniest shit ever. He comes to me with advice on how to drop someone, how to get rid of someone that he didn't want to talk to anymore. And I was just like, just tell him to fuck off. It's not that
I can't
hard.
just
It's not that hard to just be like, fuck off, I don't want to talk to you. And like I said, like I was talking about before, I don't really genuinely care about other people's feelings, so it's easy for me to just say fuck off, I don't want to talk to you, and then just leave them. It's that easy for me. But for Neo, he's just like, I'm gonna play mind games. I'm gonna play games with them. I'm gonna pretend like I'm their friend, but I'm just gonna slowly ignore them and stop talking to them, and then they're gonna get even more
yeah.
confused and question me why I don't talk to them, and then they're gonna get mad at me because I'm not talking to them anymore, and then it's gonna create more problems because I'm an idiot.
No. That was the best thing that I did. It was because I hate doing that type of shit. I'm not that type of person. But like, oh, I don't want to be friends with you. Fuck off. So what I used to do is I used to throw shade on Snapchat. So I used to like just throw shade at people on Snapchat so they will catch a hint, right? So this one girl, right? I'm not gonna say her name or anything, but this one girl, she didn't catch the hint at all. She was oblivious. It took her a while, and that shit got me pissed because she continued getting mad at me, because I was being distant to her, and she didn't get the
Gee,
hint
I
at
wonder
all.
why.
because she's
No,
fucking
when you could
stupid.
have just said, "Hey, fuck off! I don't want to be your friend." You had to like go around it and start playing games and whatnot.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, because I didn't want to have the conversation with her, and I still had that
yeah,
conversation with
you
her,
ended
and
up
it
having
comes.
that conversation anyway, you dumbass.
Yeah, but it didn't go as well because the way she acted was just so fucking annoying. It got me so fucking pissed the way she reacted to everything, and it's just I was like, what the fuck? How did I even like befriended you in the first place? Like, well, Ryan was trying to talk me out of this too because Ryan got pissed at me because I continued to talk to this person. I was too fucking nice, and
You were too nice, and then I came along and showed you what what I'm like, and then you. It's not really. I didn't really change you. You sort of just saw that
you did.
what what I was doing worked better, and you realized, oh hey, maybe I should be like that.
Yeah, I remember asking Ryan this because I remember first period I think I came to school one day. I was happy, right? And then after the I wasn't with the person that I wanted to drop, she got me so pissed. So when I went into first period, I remember asking Ryan, "How the fuck do I drop someone?"
Just tell him to fuck
And
off.
then yeah, and then Ryan, this is the thing about me, right? I'm since I'm too nice. Ryan doesn't take me seriously when I'm angry.
No,
So
you
I remember
really
one
don't.
time we were out.
You're so funny when you're angry, cause you just do like the like you can't speak.
Because I don't wanna like flip out. I don't wanna flip out at all. But I remember at lunch, he did something to get me so fucking pissed. I was so mad. He did not even care that I was mad. He did not take it. He did not
I
take me
was just
serious. And then
laughing.
so and so he was waiting for me to go walk with him, with me, him, and some other friends. And he was waiting, and I was like, "Fuck off." I was
That
so
was the
goddamn
first time
pissed.
you like properly were mad at me and told me to just go away. I was so proud of you. You were actually mad. You told me to fuck off. I was like, hey, why don't you do that with your other friend?
You're right. I don't know why I didn't do that. Um, but I still like the way I went about it. Being passive aggressive. That's way better than just straight up telling them to fuck off because you could play some mind
You
games
just like
with
to
them.
fuck with people. That's what you like to do. You just like to make people think that everything's fine and then suddenly it's not fine.
It's not like that. It's not like that at all. But a funny thing that happened. I don't know if I told you about this. But this one person that I needed a break from them. So I needed like a week off from like talking to them so I could get my head straight. And did
I
I tell
don't.
you about
It
this?
doesn't sound really familiar.
Okay, so basically I had like an issue with a person and I needed a break from them, like a week off from like talking to them because I needed to get my head straight if I was still gonna be friends with them or if I'm not gonna talk to them. And that whole week, that person's friend came to me and told me that that person was mad at me because I wasn't talking to them, and I told that person's friend that um, I needed a week from them. A week is not gonna hurt them. And then that person still got pissed at me even though I just needed a week. So I did the pussiest shit ever and I went up to that person and I said sorry even though it wasn't my fault.
You idiot.
And the thing is I don't say sorry at all.
Yeah,
Like
you
if
don't
I
ever
say
say
sorry,
sorry. That's
it's
what's
not
funny.
like
You always say, "Oh, my bad," but in like a condescending way. You're like, someone will get mad at you, and then you'll be like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah, because people say, well, before you even met me, people used to say that I say sorry too much. So I stopped saying sorry, and then I just start saying my bad. And if I do say sorry, I don't mean it at all. So if I say sorry to someone that really knows me, they know I don't mean it unless unless I sound like really sorry. But most of the time I really don't say sorry. I only say my bad. Like I remember, I remember getting one of my teachers so pissed. They said some shit to me, and all I just did is looked at them and just said my bad.
My bad.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say sorry. What the fuck? Who the fuck
Yeah,
do you think I am? The f- oh,
good old
good old
times.
times. I kind of hate the. Oh wait, I was telling you
Yeah, let's
how I
talk
went
about
mute
that. How you
for
were mute for
half of.
what was it, 2 years?
It wasn't 2 years. It was half of a year, like half a year.
Really? It wasn't that
It
long. It was only 6 months. I thought you were mute for like freshman and sophomore year.
Oh no! It was just sophomore year because, um, when I used to live in Connecticut, then I moved to Florida, middle of sophomore year, and the high school that I went to, before I even met Ryan, this was a different high school, and
I don't know what that
holy
was.
fuck, did you hear that shit?
Ew.
It was a fucking truck outside. But anyways, yeah. I moved to Florida, middle of sophomore year, and this high school that I went to I was very depressed. I had zero friends and I had no one to talk to. So I went basically I went the rest of my sophomore year mute. I didn't say one word to anyone until the end of the year. And I remember one of my teachers at that high school, she was telling me to give an answer, right? So I looked at her with the straightest face and shook my head no. And then one of my group members that was in the same group as me or same area as me, she said he didn't have an answer. I was like, "Yep, real MVP." Just because I didn't want to talk, I really went the whole year mute. And then when I actually spoke and said something, they were like, "Holy shit!" They were surprised when I actually talked. It was not that hard at all because I had zero friends. I sat at lunch by myself, a loner. And then I moved to the high school that Ryan goes to. I moved junior year, the middle of junior year, and I met Ryan.
Yeah, I think it was senior year.
Yeah. How the fuck did we even meet? Because
I
can't
remember
how we
either. It
became
had something to
friends.
do with lunch, and my friend knowing you or something, and then you came to the table and whatnot. I don't know.
I think we started to get really close when we had first period together.
Oh yeah,
Because
you mean
before that we
halfway through
didn't
the
really
year?
talk as much. Yeah, one of my friends knew Ryan, and we started sitting at I started sitting at his table during lunch, and then we didn't talk much. And then we started talking a lot, and then I don't know what happened from there. We just started no, we just became friends. I can't remember how. It's just poof.
Well, I mean, we always talked. I think we bonded more or less about how much we hate certain people. Yeah, how stupid people are and
Yeah,
whatnot. I
I
think
think so
that's sort of how
too.
we
And
bonded.
then after that, once we got first period together, that's when shit got real because that's when we started arguing. Well, play arguing all the time.
Yeah, that's when our
Yeah,
friendship sort of really
it was the
kicked
funniest shit
off.
ever too because I had a friend in there, well, acquaintance that used to sit right next to me, and then he used to get mad at me because of her.
Yeah, 'cause she was fucking retarded. I'm sorry, I can't
Yeah,
say
you
that
can
on
say that.
YouTube, can I?
Think
I don't know. Yeah, but she was so dumb, and you would
it
always
wasn't my
fucking
fault.
talk to
I had
her.
her.
Dude, yeah, because you knew her and she knew you, and she was like, "Oh, I'm friends with Neo," and so she would always talk to
Well,
you.
it's not my
She's so
fault that she
stupid.
knows me. All right. I had
This is why you
Yeah.
shouldn't be too
People
nice,
people
because you make
tend
friends
to
like that.
get personal with me real quick. I don't know why.
Because you
Yeah,
listen
but
to
I'm a nice
people's
person. If I
issues.
want to be a therapist, you get.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't listen. Other people's issues are not my issue. I have my own issues and my own problems, and I don't go around telling people about those. So why would I fucking listen to other people's issues and problems if I don't want to tell them
True,
about
but
mine? If I'm right, no, it's stupid. Unless you're a therapist or a counselor, you shouldn't be counseling people or listening to other people's issues. They should go and fix it on their own, because that's what I did. Whatever issues I had back in the day, or not back in the day, but a few years ago, any issues that I had then, counselors were pathetic. Therapists didn't work. I fixed my own issues. It was that easy. I mean, it wasn't easy, but once I finally said, I don't need anyone else, I can do this on my own, it was easier to fix my issues instead of paying out the ass for some counselor to sit there and listen to me and not help me with
well, yeah,
anything.
I see what you're talking about, but you're a whole different person. You're complicated, all right. You're very complicated,
I'm
and
complicated.
well, I don't know. You you don't have a friendly face like I do, all right? People.
It's not my fault that you have a baby face and people like that. I have the sort of gruff, bearded man sort of, face, and people see me as I always have a
I
pissed
can't.
off look
I
on my
don't know.
face.
I have. Do wait. When you see my face, do you think do you think I'm a friendly person when you first met me?
Yeah, I absolutely. I told you, I was like, you're like the nicest person I've ever met. I said that to you
Uh
because you were.
yeah. It comes with well, I remember asking one of my friends if I looked friendly, and then she said yes. I remember getting mad because I didn't want people to look at me as friendly because they tend to just come up and just start talking to me like
Was this before or after you
that's
met me?
after I met you.
See?
Because people I remember in one of my classes, like I remember the teacher was switching up the seats, and I got moved me from one of my acquaintances to a stranger, and then I remember the second day I came in, he started telling me about his life. I was like, what the fuck? I was
Like, he just
Yeah,
spilled
he
his
was telling
life
me about his
story to you?
problems and stuff like that, and I was like, what? I was so confused because I didn't know this kid as I didn't know him at all. I just met him a day ago, and then all of a sudden he's just like telling me about his life, and I was like giving him advice that I can't even follow, and I was like, wow. So I was like, yep, I guess I'm a friendly person. I gotta deal with it.
Yeah, that's the you can't be. Unfortunately, you really can't be that way in life, because you do kind of get looked down upon if you are too nice or if you are
Yeah,
too friendly. People will take advantage of you because they know that, oh, he's the friendly guy, he's the nice guy, he'll do anything for me. Me, on the other hand, people know that I ain't gonna do
yeah,
shit.
that's what happened to me. I was used before because I was too fucking nice. Um, I didn't really care that she used me. The fact that she fucking said she didn't got me mad, but I didn't I didn't really care. She could go ahead because I didn't really care for at that because I know I used to use people back in the day. um, yeah, I don't know. I seem like a dickhead, but in middle school I was just like Ryan. I wasn't as chill as I am today when I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, I had anger issues with quotations. Yeah, because I went to what was it? Anger issue counseling because my mom thought,
Like anger
yeah,
management
yeah, that
class.
shit. My mom thought I had anger issues, and then when I told my friends, they were like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "You're so chill, though." I was like, "I know." So when I remember getting called down to one of my anger management sessions, and then I tried to skip it because I didn't want to go, and then the counselor came, or therapist, whatever she was, she came to my class and called me out, and I was like, fuck. And then when I told my friends, they were like, wow, you really do have anger issues. I was like, so they say.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I still have anger issues to this day. This is how I was born. But I'm also chill at the same time because even though I say I don't give a fuck about a lot of things or a lot of other people, it's just because I'm sort of that, I can be that laid back person who just doesn't care a lot about things and just, goes with the world. And then other times I want to kill people.
I remember there was this one person that you totally hated, oh, and she always used to talk about her problems, and I remember you shutting her down one time.
I don't see. It's funny though because I've been out of school for not that long, but these people are so irrelevant that I already don't know what you're talking about.
Uh, she did, a lot of. She smoked a lot of Kush.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, yeah, no, I remember what you're talking about now. She tried to tell me about her problems. I'm just like, no. I'm like, no, stop talking. I don't care. You've already told me this 100
Yeah,
times.
she had the same issue. That's what one thing I fucking hate about like certain girls. Like they know they're in a bad relationship and they should get out of it, and they know they should get out of it, but yet they still they stay in it and then bitch about it to us. It's like, what? We told you.
Well, that's like half of high school girls is they get in relationships with shitty dudes and they know it. Like people can clearly give them facts and evidence that they're shitty people, but they're just like, oh no, that's just him. That's just how he is. And then they'll get beat. And then they'll say, no, that's just him.
It's so dumb. Like, what the fuck? And then when we try to tell them, warn them or anything, or give them advice, they were like, "Fuck you, you're just jealous," or some shit like that. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's exactly why I gave up. That's why I became this person, because believe it or not, back in like the beginning of high school, I was sort of helpful and sort of friendly, because I was in a place of my own, not a very good place, so I was sort of helping people because I couldn't help myself, so I was just doing it for other people. And then I'd get the same shit like you were saying. People always don't listen to you, or they just go and do their own thing, or they don't care, and then you just give up eventually. You're just like, okay, fuck you. No one's gonna listen to what I'm saying. They're not gonna take my advice. They're just gonna do their own thing. So what's the point?
Yeah, that's what I used to do too. I used to be a student therapist. That's what I was basically. I used to help people with their problems all the time. I still do because I'm a nice person and I love doing it.
No.
You can't do that. You can't help people.
I mean, not even. I don't even think I could help people that I know for a very long time. I can almost barely help my fiance, and that's someone I've known for 4.5 years. No, yeah, I've known her for 4.5 years, and I can still barely help her with her issues because I just have issues with people's feelings. Like, I don't really understand them or care about them, so it's hard for me.
Oh my god, what the fuck? So,
No, I mean, I'm not saying that I don't care about her or anyone in the world. I obviously care about her, and I care about you and the other two friends that I have. But it's just hard for me.
yeah, have I been in a situation like that before? Oh wait, yes and no. I remember there was this one person that used to tell me about the same problems all the time, and I just got fed up of it, so I just basically nod and said then just walked away. It's not that I'm a mean person. It's just you say the same shit every single day. I give you the same advice every single day, and then there comes a point where I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not gonna hear you talk about this shit all the time, and I just walk away.
No, it can also be like people don't really understand. It's not that I guess they don't understand what being a mean person is or being a dick is, but if you don't want to hear that shit anymore and you don't care anymore, it's not that you're being a mean person. You've heard it so many times and nothing has changed since then. So it's like, why would you keep listening to it? And people are like, you're an asshole. It's like, no, not really.
Yeah, there was this time where I wanted to protect myself from someone I like emotionally, like protect myself. I didn't want to get myself hurt, so I looked out for myself. So I didn't want to be friends with that person. And then I remember that this person's friend, she called me a dickhead because I'm saying I was being mean because I was looking out for my emotions and I didn't care for that person's emotion. I was like, I come first. My feelings comes first.
Yeah, if you care about yourself and worry about what your life is going to be like and worry about your problems instead of other people's, then people think you're an asshole because they think you're selfish or they think you're self-centered or whatever. It's not about that. It's not about being self-centered. It's about taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I went through basically my whole high school life putting people's feelings over mine. And then I came to realize it took me 4 fucking years just to figure this shit out, to not give a shit about those people's feelings, and that I come first. It's not that I don't care about them, but I need to come first before I could even care about you.
That's how it happens. That's how it's always going to go. In the end, you are what matters. In the end, because obviously, look at what happened. Those people in high school, I don't fucking remember their names. I don't remember what they look like. I don't remember who they are. I don't talk to them. So clearly, they didn't matter. They're whatever happened. It in the end, I still came out, and I'm still the one that I'm looking out for. I'm still looking out for myself and worrying about my issues. I'm not worrying about them.
Yeah, and they think you're the worst person ever. Like, now you're thinking about yourself. You're being selfish.
Yeah, it's high school, man. People need to learn. They just gotta learn. Once you learn that you are your own person and that you need to focus on yourself, you will be a much better person. You might become jaded
Yeah.
and a bit of an ass, but in the end, you will make yourself better because you will focus on yourself and focus on your own issues and solve them faster because you're not busy worrying about what other people think or what their issues are or their problems or anything. If you just focus on yourself, you'll be a lot better off in life.
That's true. But I think so too, because if you focus on yourself, that's one thing. Yeah, breakups. When people break up, they worry about that other person that they lost, and instead of making themselves happy, they just thinking about that other person. So the only way to overcome like a breakup is to make yourself happy and do what makes you happy. instead of worrying about that other person.
Yeah, I remember the very first serious relationship I had was at the end of 8th grade. I only dated this girl for 3 months, but um, we we obviously broke up after. It was in the middle of the summer, and after we broke up, all I could think about was her. I was like, I miss her so much. I want her back. Blah blah blah. I'm so upset. I'm so sad, and that wasn't obviously the smartest thing to do. Because I wasn't focusing on myself. I was focusing on her and not continuing on with my life. I was just dwelling in the past.
Yeah, that's what tends to be the biggest downfall, is that you obsess over the past and the present. You don't care about anything else, just that.
Yeah, dwelling on the past is never a really good idea because the future is obviously the most important part. Focusing on what's coming up next in your life. Obviously, the next step in our lives, now that we finished high school, is a job, college, trade school, even. Everything else. You're obviously not going to dwell on high school anymore. You got to get past that shit. I mean, I'm obviously already way past that.
Me, I'm already up past that too. I really don't care for relationships at all. That's the last thing I care about. If it happens, it happens. But I never, throughout my whole high school life, after one of my breakups, I said I'm not gonna date in high school, because what's the point? You're not gonna see that person ever again. So I made a rule to start dating when I'm in college, because that's a better thing to do than in high school. But I never really cared for relationships at all, because it's just I felt it was unnecessary for me at the time, and I still think it's unnecessary for me right now, because I really don't feel like I should be in a relationship. If it does happen, it happens. That's how it goes. I'm not planning to be in a relationship, so I just feel like if I'm gonna end up being in a relationship, it's gonna be something not planned. Because most people, they look for a relationship. I'm not gonna look for a relationship. I'm just gonna live my life and let shit happen.
Yeah. I remember during freshman year, I was bad, not like a bad boy,
You're a
I mean,
fuck boy.
was bad, and I was bad in the sense of relationships. I was not a fuckboy in high school. I was a fuckboy in 8th grade. That's a story for another day. But in freshman year, I think throughout my whole freshman year, I dated 8 different girls,
8.
9 different girls.
9. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was bad because I would just, obviously I'm gonna delve into something that probably shouldn't be talked about, but you're a high school boy, I should say, because I was a boy. Um, you're horny, obviously. You go into high school, your hormones or whatever, they're all over the place. Boys are horny when they get in high school, so I just ended up dating whoever I thought, like, oh, she's cute, oh, she's pretty, I kind of like her, I'll date her. I guess I was kind of an ass when it came to that, but I finally realized that that's obviously not a good thing. I shouldn't be doing that, and I settled down with the person that I'm with right now, who I've been dating since freshman year. So,
Damn. You would not see me doing that type of shit ever.
yeah, it was bad. I dated some crazy girls too, which was even worse. Like, I dated some fucked up chicks, and I would never do that again in my entire life. So why I did it then, I don't know.
Crazy makes things exciting. You wake up
No, that makes it
You
scary.
wake up every day for waiting for a surprise to happen. So every day is always going to be an interesting day.
Interesting it's a light word.
Uh,
All right, we're gonna move on from talking about specifically high school to talking about trends.
Yay, trends. The fucking
Yay.
the fidget spinner. That's the big thing right now.
That's the big thing right now, is obviously the fidget spinner. Not so much the fidget cube, just the spinner.
Yeah.
When did those take off? Like, I can't think of like a specific point where they came around and started to become a thing where everyone wanted one. Because I remember the very first time I saw one was near the end of our senior year. I saw a friend had it, and I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, it's a fidget spinner. You spin it in your hands. You can you obviously fidget with it if you're bored or you have like ADHD or something. It helps." And I was like, "That's a really cool idea." For people like me who like to fidget with things and play with stuff like with their hands and whatnot, who have ADHD, it sounds like a really good idea. Just, to have something to play with and distract your mind, whatever. And then everyone started to just get them because they thought it was cool, And that's what makes me mad about fidget spinners, is that people are not using them legitimately. There's a lot of people that are just getting them because they think they're cool. People put cool designs on them. They're like, "Oh, that looks cool. I'll take it. I'll spin it around. Oh, look, it's spinning. It's so colorful and cool." They're not using it, to what extent they should be used to, which is for people who have legit ADHD and need something, to fidget with. That's why they're called fidget spinners.
Yeah, it became like that because all the people make YouTube videos on these and they end up doing stupid shit with them, so it becomes
you can do tricks
Yeah.
and whatnot, and I think they're dumb. And what's even worse is that because they're a trend and because they're so big, I've come to points where I'm like, maybe I should get one, because I have ADHD and whatnot, so playing with something would help me. And I'm like, maybe I should get a fidget spinner, but then they're so popular now. Like, what's the point? I've said like, why would I go and get one? Everyone's just gonna look at me like I'm a dick.
Well, you have a good reason why. Most people, they don't have a good reason why. They just have it because it's a toy to them. That's why.
They think it's fun to play with. Oh, look, it spins and it's colorful. They're not legitimately using it to help themselves.
Yeah, I saw someone's Snapchat. They had one. They had a fidget spinner and it lights up, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like it's lit up, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but why though? Just why?
I don't know.
Because
I don't. I guess if you really wanted to get something, because like I said, the fidget cube obviously isn't as popular. So if you really need something like that, I guess you can go get a fidget cube.
Yeah. But I remember seeing the fidget spinner for the first time. I saw this kid like playing with it, and I didn't know what it was. I thought he had a coin and he was like rotating it because I think his was gold, and I was like, holy shit, he's doing a magic trick. So, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's what it is. And then it's a spinny thing. I was like, okay, that's a magician's secret right there. That's what I thought it was, honestly. And then he told me it was a fidget spinner. I was like, oh, that's stupid.
Oh, that's retarded.
Just shot him down.
Man,
We had a lot of stupid trends throughout the year. Like what's the dumbest trend that happened?
In high school or just throughout our school years?
In high school. Senior year, because there was a lot of stupid shit.
Fuck. Bottle flipping.
Oh yeah. Oh my. The beginning of the year. That was dumb.
That
was the biggest thing ever.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. People just fucking flipping their bottles around trying to land it. And you would hear it all the time in the lunchroom. Like, someone's bottle flipping because you'd hear the bottle land on the table, and everyone would just scream at the table. They'd be like, "Oh, he did it!" It's like, shut up.
Yeah, it's so. It was the most annoying thing ever because you had the freshmen coming in and they was just like doing that shit all the time, just flipping those bottles. Like, could you not? And then they started doing trick shots with it too. And I was
Yeah, they'd be like landed on top of a roof or like on high places and shit. It's like, you are idiots. Didn't the school make a rule, like specifically no bottle flipping allowed in classrooms or something?
I don't think so. I think it was just certain teachers alone. Cause I know certain teachers had rules for it because they didn't want the kids to bottle flip at all. So I know some teachers had rules, but I don't know if it was
Well,
the whole thing.
it's understandable. It's fucking annoying. That's all you hear in the classroom is just clunk, 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 clunk on the table as the bottle hit the floor, hit the table, and then those kids would scream. They'd be like, "Oh!" And the teacher's like, "Shut up, you idiots! You're all morons. Why do you do this shit?"
You tried it out at least. I know
It's it.
you tried it.
Fucking because someone forced me to. Basically, they're
Forced
like,
you
"Here,
to?
take the bottle." They're like, "Here, take the bottle, flip it." And I'm like, okay. And I flipped it, and then it didn't work. I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." What's even worse is that it wasn't the freshmen; they were just doing it. Like I guess they were the ones who brought it with them and started it. But the seniors were doing it too.
Yeah, and I know what I hated the most after they did the bottle flip and made it. They did the dab. Oh my god.
Wasn't that before the bottle flip?
I know, but just like they fucking ruined the dab. The way
Dabbing was the trend. I remember that. That was
it was
dumbass.
the worst trend ever. It started what? When did it start?
Was it junior year?
Yeah, I think it was junior year it started and it continued. But I think it's dead now.
The only people that do it now are cringy as fuck and don't understand what the word trend means. So
Yeah.
they don't. I mean, I understand what trend means, and I still don't follow them. So
I don't follow trends. I think this is how you know I don't follow trends. So this is middle school, right? You know how in those gangster movies they used to say like word. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, like word to my homies,
Yeah.
whatever.
So I was in middle school and I used to say that shit all the time. I used to be like word. I saw it's so fucking dumb. Oh my god, that's how you know I did not stay up to date with the trends because I used to be like word, like thinking about it right now is just it's just cringy right now.
The only let me say this: the only trend that I think I ever followed was back in elementary school. Do you remember silly bands?
Yeah.
I followed that trend hard. I thought those were the coolest things ever.
I remember people were trying to like collect like all of them, like you know how they had like the animal ones.
Yeah, they had animals and sports and like different types of stuff. I collected so many of those things you don't even know.
Oh my god.
Kids would be trading them on the playground and shit. Like that's what recess was, just trading silly bands. Be like, which one you got? Oh, I like that one. Can I have that one? I got this one. You know, maybe like drug dealing. Like, give me the good stuff.
Oh my god. But what was that? There was a wristband that had I think it was for breast cancer and it had like boobs on
Oh
it.
my god, I remember those. It was like I love boobies.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, man, I remember those in middle school. Those were big in middle school.
yeah, I remember my middle school they banned it and I was
Yeah.
like, it was the dumbest shit ever because it was like it was for breast cancer and they thought we weren't mature. Well, we weren't mature. So.
Obviously, you weren't mature, but yeah, I remember my school did the same thing. My middle school, they're like, we know it's supporting breast cancer, but it has the word boobies on it, therefore we can't allow it in school.
It was so dumb. It's like why schools these days they have dumb rules right now. They have ridiculous rules because it's so dumb because at lunch we're not allowed to use our phones for homework or just use our phones in general, which is dumb because why? And we can't listen to music. What's the why?
Yeah, I don't know. Like if you, I'm pretty sure if you went to any other school, a lot of people told me this, that if you went to like any other school, they would let you use your phone during lunch because, you know, that's not in a fucking classroom. You're not learning anything. You're not doing any work. You're not interrupting the teacher. You're not disrespecting her, quote unquote, or him. You're just in lunch, eating, having a nice chit chat with your friends, and you should be able to just listen to music, you know? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and then you have those APs tracking down, like they take that job so seriously. They just all they look for is just any signs of a phone, and they just look for that. It's so dumb because they make up like you could have your phone under your bag and it will just pop up and take it. Like what the fuck? Where did you come from?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But back on track,
Yeah,
trends and
trends.
stuff. So you just went off on a separate rant. You got so mad. You're
Oh,
like, fuck this.
yeah, trends. What other trends were they? There was a lot of trends.
Pokemon Go was a trend, technically, right?
Oh,
Yeah. I remember when that blew up, man. That I never did it. I literally never even downloaded the app. I was
I
like, okay, that's a thing. People go outside and they catch fake Pokemon.
Yeah, I remember playing Pokemon Go. I remember playing that game. I used one of those attract things, whatever it was, to because I didn't want to leave my house, so I used one of those attract, and I caught one Pokemon. It was a Squirtle, I believe, and after that, I never played it again because I found it boring and it wasn't fun. Like I remember trying to catch the Pokemon. You know how you can use your cameras. So it was my camera at the time was garbage, so I had to use like the alternate shit. But I was throwing the Pokeballs at the Squirtle, and it took me like 5 or 10 Pokeballs just to capture that motherfucker. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember back when Pokemon Go first came out. That literally, like legit people, they brought them outside. It brought them into the real world, and people would gather in parks and different places, like Pokestops, I think that's what they're called. They would gather around and be friendly and like help other people find Pokemon. And I remember as it first came out in America, I think, and then once it came out in Japan and China over there were so many people in the streets. I remember seeing pictures and videos of the amount of fucking people that were in the streets, literally crowding the sidewalks and the streets. Not cars couldn't get through just because people were in everywhere trying to find fucking Pokemon. It was amazing.
Yeah, it brought all the nerds outside.
Yeah, and then a week later they all went back inside because that's how trends work.
Yeah, it lasted long. I thought it would have ended pretty fast, but it lasted a long time.
Yeah, I will give it credit. It did sort of last longer than a week, but you know, obviously it was a trend, and now it's sort of dead.
Yeah, it lasted throughout the whole summer, and then it continued during like the first few days of school, and then it ended.
Well, how trends work, obviously, yeah, I guess we already know how trends work. It's something that's really popular, people find a lot of interest in, and then it dies down over time, obviously, because people don't care about it anymore. But it deals with this generation, though. It does have a lot to do with this generation because these kids and shit, they always want something new. They're always like, oh, this is new, this is cool. Okay, now I want something new. Oh, this is new, this is cool. Okay, now I'm bored. I want something different, you know? It all has to do with these millennials. And I can say that because I'm a part of the millennials, and I hate being a part of the millennial generation. because people always look down upon us, and it's well deserved because 90% of the people that were born as millennials are fucking stupid.
Someone's gonna hear this and be like, "I'm not stupid."
There's some millennial out there who's gonna go on Tumblr and talk about how they're so perfect.
Yeah.
I
Ugh.
really, I really hate this generation, though. All the kids and shit, they're so self-centered and whatnot. I mean, and it's not like, remember what we were saying before? How we were saying if you care about yourself and whatnot, people think you're an asshole, but you're really not. I'm not talking about those type of people who are legitimately like looking after themselves that are selfish. It's the people who are like, on Instagram being all about me, 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 me. Look at how pretty I am. Look at how great I am. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I'm so great. It's those kind of fucking people.
Yeah, I honestly hate those type of people, but that's how it is. Most people that I knew were kind of like that, but it's nothing. But I think, never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say.
I mean, like I said, there is a difference between looking after yourself and taking care of yourself and being, your own person. And then there's the people on Tumblr. And that's all I have to say.
I remember one time when I went on Tumblr because someone told me to go check it out, and the first thing that I saw when I was like scrolling through Tumblr was just tits. So I was like, whoa, this is way better than Instagram.
This is way better than I thought it would be. No.
But then I got to the weird side where you got some weird shit. You got a lot of weird shit on Tumblr. I got to some weird thing with Shrek, and I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that.
But yeah, I stopped going on Tumblr. I never had a Tumblr account though, but yeah, I never used Tumblr. I just went on the site and then scroll through some bullshit. That's all I did.
Yeah. I remember talking about social media. I remember, like, obviously back in elementary school and middle school, I thought social media was like the best thing ever. I was like, oh, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit. Instagram wasn't there back then, but you get my point. Social media, I was all over that shit because it was sort of a trend. Social media can act as a trend as well. Everyone hopped, like Vine. Vine was a big trend, and then that died. 2 years later?
Thank God.
Yeah, I remember back in middle school, I had a Facebook and everything, and I believe we talked about this in our very first podcast, but we lost the audio. Like, we had some issues, so it's good that we're talking about it again. But yeah, people always, especially in middle school and high school, even high school, which surprises me, you have these people on Facebook who have over 500 and 1,000, 2,000 even friends, and it's like, you don't know 2% of those people. You legitimately don't have 1,000 friends. So why are you acting like you have that many people? Like, if someone knew something or knew someone or even knew their name or vaguely recognized them, they'd be like, oh, add a friend, and that's all it was about to them, was just getting the number up of their friends so they could look more popular and look better so they could feel better about themselves. And I never in my Facebook, when I used to go on Facebook, I never made it past, I think, 30 friends.
Yeah.
I never had it because I was like genuine. I was looking at people. I was looking at people on Facebook, looking at their names. I'm like, okay, I know who you are, but I don't fucking talk to you. I don't know you personally. You're not my friend. Why would I friend you? And I would only friend the people that I genuinely knew,
Yeah, I remember having that same issue. Because when I first started Facebook, I was young, obviously, and I was always concerned about how many friends that I had, because because I will see my other friends that I had on Facebook have like 500 or 1,000 friends, and I'm like, oh, they have a lot of friends and I don't. And to this day, I don't even know how much I have. I think I have about about 100 friends on Facebook, and most of them is probably just family members. So I don't really use Facebook anymore at all. The only I only use Facebook just to catch up with people most
No,
of the time.
I don't ever use Facebook anymore. I never made a Twitter. I never made a Tumblr. I never, once that was, once I realized how stupid social media was and a waste of time it was, the only social media that I use now is Instagram. I don't use fucking Snapchat. I don't do any of that shit. I never used Vine.
Yeah, I only use I use Instagram and Snapchat. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it at all. But that's the only thing that I use. I just use Instagram and Snapchat. That's it.
Uh, I, I'm glad I realized what a big waste of time that was. Cause that's all social media is. It's just not really worrying about other people's lives, but just looking into their personal life.
Yeah,
And they're looking at the dumb shit that they post, and it's not worth your time at all. Like, why are you looking at this? Why are you worrying about this?
yeah. I remember someone telling me that I don't do anything. All I do is just stay home, and that shit got me pissed because just because I don't post my whole life on Snapchat doesn't mean I don't do anything with my
Exactly.
life.
That I guess that's why people fucking do that. That's why they post so much shit on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat. It's because they want to look cool. They want to look like, hey, this is what I'm doing with my life. This you aren't doing this with your life. Look at me. You could be doing this. I'm way cooler than you are. No, you're not.
Yeah, like I don't need to post my whole fucking life on Snapchat to like everyone. I choose what I want to post. I'm not gonna post my whole life because most of the time they post them doing shit that they're not supposed to do.
Yeah, like over
And
50% of the things that you see on social media are kids smoking weed and doing drugs and going to parties and whatnot. And they're like, look at how cool I am.
like it's so dumb. I don't even do that. I only post like when I'm at home listening to good tunes,
Yeah,
even though they probably
I never had a Snapchat. I've never made one, but my fiance shows me stuff that you post. And she'll be like, "These listening to music or something," or when you post something about our podcast, be like, "Hey, look at the podcast. There's new podcast up." Like that's all I see you post on Snapchat. You never post stuff, that normal people, quote unquote, normal would do, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's all I use it for, honestly. And the only reason I still have a Snapchat today is because of one of my friends that I'm really close to. She's my therapist. That's what she is, and that's the only reason I still have a Snapchat is because of her. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be using Snapchat. But she's my therapist, so I need to stay in contact with her all the time. And you guys are probably thinking, why the fuck are you talking with your therapist on Snapchat? Well, she's not a real therapist. I think of her as a therapist because she helped me with most of my problems senior year. So that's why I called her my therapist. Plus, I don't want to pay for a therapist.
Yeah, that never. If you ever have any issues in life, anything like that, any problems that you're going through, don't ever go see a therapist or a counselor
Unless it's me.
unless it's Neil, because he
I
won't
would.
charge you out the ass. He's not gonna, you know, take all your money away and basically scam you.
If I was ever a therapist, I would charge a reasonable price. I wouldn't like charge like some ridiculous price because that's so dumb. You're paying all this money to get help. like I don't see that's fair. So I will charge some. I still need to get paid, but I wouldn't charge something ridiculous.
Yeah, like I said, I helped myself, and that was entirely free. So if you can figure out how to do that, help yourself out, you're gonna make your life way easier.
And that I think that's the end of today's podcast. Ending on a light note.
That's gonna wrap it up. End it on a light note. If you ever need any help, just focus on you. Don't focus on anyone else. Just get yourself, out of that place that you're in, and your life will be a lot better. So that's gonna do it for today's podcast, guys. I hope you enjoyed listening. Have a good night, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you're watching, and we'll see you in the next podcast.